Welcome to today's deep dive. We are cutting straight to the core of a massive professional conflict today: the difference between just pushing paperwork and actually securing a family's future. We're going to explore the absolutely critical transformation from being a transactional salesperson to becoming a trusted, indispensable advisor.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To understand this shift, we first have to understand the immense stakes involved. Section 1, the stakes. The sole breadwinner. If your client is the sole breadwinner of their family, I really want you to let the weight of that vulnerability sink in for a second. We aren't just talking about a demographic box to check or a job title on an application. No, we are talking about a massive, unspoken responsibility. Just imagine a family of 4. The alarm goes off at 6 a.m. One parent gets up, pours the coffee, heads out the door, and every single aspect of that family's future is totally tethered to that one paycheck. The mortgage, the groceries, the pediatric dentistry bills, literally all of it. What happens if that alarm goes off tomorrow and they simply cannot go to work? Suddenly, the oxygen is sucked right out of the room. That terrifying vulnerability is the reality your client lives with every single day, whether they say it out loud or not.
So, how does this build our understanding? Let's move to Section 2, what clients actually buy. There's a massive illusion in our industry. It is so easy to get caught up in the mechanics of selling policies. We focus on the forms, the underwriting, the legal jargon. But selling policies, it's cold. It's highly transactional. Frankly, it just sounds like a quota you're trying to hit by Friday afternoon, right? But what clients actually need you to do is protect their income. This isn't just some clever marketing phrase. It's a fundamentally different moral duty. When you shift your mindset from moving paper to protecting income, you become a shield. You're ensuring that if the absolute worst happens to that family we just pictured, the kids still go to college, the house isn't foreclosed on, and life, in some form, goes on. Now, what's really interesting about this psychological truth is that, let's be brutally honest, nobody wakes up in the morning excited to read a 40-page contract filled with exclusionary clauses and underwriting stipulations. Fun fact, the average person would literally rather sit in a traffic jam than read insurance jargon. The psychological motivation behind their signature is never the paperwork. It's pure, unadulterated peace of mind. When they sign on that dotted line, they aren't buying insurance. They are buying the certainty that their family will not face financial ruin. They're buying a good night's sleep.
Clients don't buy insurance, they buy their family's financial security. I want you to really absorb this quote from the source material. If you're an agent operating in this field, this realization, it's the ultimate paradigm shift in your sales psychology. So the crucial point here is that if you approach a meeting trying to explain the intricate details of a policy limit, you'll inevitably face resistance. But if you sit down and talk about constructing an unbreakable fortress of financial security around the people they love most, wow, the conversation changes entirely. You are no longer viewed as a vendor. You become a vital lifeline.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, agent versus advisor. So how do you actually make this transformation happen in your daily practice? Well, it all starts with your vocabulary. And the difference between talking about premium versus talking about protection brilliantly illustrates that shift. Think about it. When your primary talking point is the premium, when you're focusing heavily on how much this will cost per month, you immediately position yourself as a disposable commodity. You are practically begging the client to shop around for a cheaper price because you've made cost the star of the show. But when you pivot the conversation away from cost and toward holistic protection, you completely elevate yourself. You become an indispensable partner. You aren't discussing a monthly expense anymore. You are discussing the exact, tangible mechanism that will save their family from disaster. The source material highlights 3 interlocking pillars that really need to frame your client conversations. First up, we have income protection. Think of this as the immediate safety net. It's about replacing that lost paycheck so a sudden crisis doesn't spiral into a permanent catastrophe. But that immediate net naturally extends into the second pillar, family security. This goes far beyond raw numbers. It's about maintaining their standard of living, keeping the family in the same house, the same neighborhood, with the exact same opportunities they've always planned for. And finally, that security builds into financial continuity. This is the long-term vision, ensuring that generational plans like retirement for a surviving spouse or a college legacy for the kids don't just evaporate overnight. Weaving these 3 concepts seamlessly into your meetings is exactly how you transcend the role of a mere agent and cement your status as an elite advisor.
And as we wrap up this explainer, we arrive at our final section, the ultimate question.
So it is time for a moment of direct professional introspection. Are you selling policies or securing income? I want you to reflect honestly on your last 5 client interactions. Which side of that equation did you fall on? Because your answer to this question doesn't just dictate your own professional success, it fundamentally dictates the survival and well-being of the families relying on you. Let that sink in.